All right, guys, the next variation of our inside spin is going to take us towards the leg drag, or at least a modified leg drag. And the nice thing about sweeping with leg entanglements is oftentimes in the 50-50, I'd say most of all, is that because you're so close to your opponent or your partner, you're landing more or less through their guard. 50-50, this is a reality that is pretty important to understand, because when I sweep you with my open guard, for instance, it's not bad, but I still have to pass through layers of your defense. So here's what I mean. If I start in one leg X guard, or whatever the heck you want to call it, if you pop up for a second, please, I manage to knock at him down and we build back up. I can navigate through this as quickly as I reasonably can, but I do land in front of him with his legs between me and him to some extent or another. And the earlier that Adam flops to his back and sucks his knees in, the more layers of guard I'm going to have to deal with, which is, again, one of the reasons that a lot of times you see more experienced grapplers sweeping each other to mount, to back, to stuff like that, because they commit heavily to their defense. They believe in their ability to not get swept. And as a result, it can leave them out to dry sometimes. It's an interesting thing. You're more likely to knock out a more confident striker because he's going to actually stick in there and try to punch with you. It's the same type of situation. So in 50-50, though, we're hip to hip. If Adam sits down for a moment, if I'm able to get my leg to the other side, I land past his legs for the most part. We're going to capitalize on that right here. So we're attacking with our inside spin, and rather than going to the bottom, Adam is going to aggressively try to keep his base. And aggressively try to keep his base isn't a mindset where you're like angry or pissed or your heart rate's up. It's simply he's committing to widening out and not letting me sweep him. So I lift my hips, reposition my shoulder, and I start to go underneath. Adam is going almost a bear crawl here, which is making it really difficult for me to effectively sweep him. However, it does open up space between his knee and his elbow. What I'm going to do is take my leg out, sweep him almost like a flower sweep, and I'm putting him down on his hip. And if you notice, we're landing in a modified leg drag. Your traditional leg drag would put us here. That's not where this is really taking us, but modified leg drag, frankly, I'd rather have, because we're even more stuck together than we otherwise might be. I'm also coming up with an underhook. I'm going to dump him and immediately be set to pass, which goes a little bit beyond the scope of what we're talking about here. But if you guys are familiar with guard passing, which I'm sure you are to one extent or another, you'll know there's a lot that can be done there, and you're also landing in a really advantageous position. So if we come back again, I'm going from 50-50 all the way across. And now, similar to a flower sweep, I'm bringing his hip to the floor. We come back, let's rotate a little bit to your other side, please. Sitting him down as I sit up, and it lands us with the far side underhook. Now, I would recommend putting your head down on the near side for all of you guard passers out there. You could start to go to the crossface underhook. However, the crossface allows him to push me across with his right arm, potentially, whereas having my head to the near side keeps him trapped between the horseshoe or U shape of my arm and my head. So again, you have your standard inside spin. I'm lifting my hips up to create space underneath of me, repositioning my shoulder so my upper body mass starts to go between his feet. I'll pass my inside arm to his far leg. If necessary, as I'm trying to reach across to drag myself further, I find that he's splaying out. I'm immediately opening my triangle, putting my foot across, and sweeping. So as I say, it's similar to the flower sweep. When I say flower sweep, just in case, because I know there's a billion ways to call everything in jiu-jitsu. If we come back, I can't understand blue belts anymore. They always ask me, like, you know, the blah, 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 blah move? And I'm like, oh my God, I have no idea what that is. And then they show me an arm lock. And then it's like, yeah, I've seen it once or twice. So anyway, there's your basic flower sweep. It's the kind of idea. If we come back, oh my God, man, I can't move. I'm squeezing. I'm relaxed. I'm expanded. 1, 2, 3. Turn them for the camera. It's an important part of any move. Land. One last time at closer to regular speed. Push off the wall if you need to. It's actually kind of convenient that we have that here, because it's kind of like fighting the wall, and the cage becomes an interesting, component to almost any situation, which is a random thought, and I don't mean to take this in a completely different direction. But when you can, wrestle off the walls, jiu-jitsu guys. It's something that I feel like I've learned a lot about martial arts and a lot about grappling from. So there's, again, it's just another factor that you can throw in to challenge your understanding of position and of angle and structure and whatnot. So if you do find yourself close to the wall, as long as no one's at physical risk, would strongly recommend wrestling off. I said one last time before, we'll go again. And that's your inside spin or inside cut on your leg drag.